So everybody will probably get a little note on your screen to say that we're recording, and you can just hit OK and that will disappear from your screen. So welcome, hello, everyone. I am really super happy to have everybody here. This is Reclaim Vitality. I'm Patricia LaPena. And before we go any further, I'd really like to say hello to the Reclaim Vitality team, Joanne Scott, my sister, give a wave, and Sue Warner, sister from another mister, give a wave there too. And if you have any questions once we start going, you can put them in the chat and either Joanne or Sue will be able to answer those questions. So not a problem there. Tonight, we're going to probably take about 30 minutes for the whole presentation. But tonight, being it's our podcast, we are going to talk tonight about a reset for women who are 60 plus, 70, 80, 90 plus, living their best life in this chapter. Oh, me be able to change it. So went too far. Hang on. Okay, so tonight I want to talk about something that I think many women quietly feel at this age, but we don't always say it out loud. That feeling of waking up one day and realizing, I don't feel quite like myself anymore. Maybe your energy is not the same. Maybe your habits have slipped and you don't feel as healthy as you used to. Maybe your body feels different. Maybe your confidence feels quieter. Perhaps you feel withdrawn from people and experiences that were such a big part of your life before. And you find yourself saying, I really need to get back on track, but life just keeps going and it gets in the way. And you could have started questioning about your life at this age with, is this all there is? Have I put my own dreams on hold for too long? How is my age now going to restrict me in the future? And can I still create a life that feels exciting, meaningful, healthy, and alive? The 28-day Reclaim Vitality Reset was created for that woman. This is for the woman who knows something needs to shift, and she wants a simple, supportive place to begin. But please also hear me on this. You do not need to be unhappy to want more. You do not have to be in a crisis to start making changes. Sometimes the most powerful changes begin when life is already good, but you realize that there is more vitality, more joy, more purpose, or more possibility available to you. The whole beginnings of this course started because I felt that way. I started asking questions of my life, and Joanne, too, my sister. We would get together, talk for hours about how we could, or how can we, or what do we have to do to take those baby steps to claim our best life as we've been aging, as we've gotten to this decade. And then we had a wake-up call. And some of you on the call know this, but we lost a family member way too soon, way too tragic. And then we've also lost a couple of our other friends. And if you've ever experienced that loss, and I know all of you have, you know it stops you and makes you think. Or maybe it's a diagnosis that stops you in your tracks and makes you pay more attention. Suddenly life feels shorter. Sometimes it's not a dramatic way. Sometimes it's life altering. Regardless, as we age and get into this chapter of our life, this becomes very real. We only have one life, and this is it. You start asking yourself, what am I waiting for? When am I going to make time for what I want? What dreams have I tucked away? What adventures have I talked about, but I've never actually planned? And what kind of a woman do I want to become in this next chapter? And those questions can be sometimes uncomfortable because the answers are not always easy, but they matter because sometimes the first sign that we need to make a reset is not physical. Sometimes that first sign is that quiet little voice inside of us saying, there has to be more than this. For a while, when I realized I was stuck, I kept going, like many women do, like we all do. We keep pushing through, we keep showing up, we keep handling things. It is what we do. We tell ourselves that everything is fine. But eventually, for me, I hit that wall, I hit burnout. And that is when my health could no longer be ignored. My body started getting my attention. I knew I needed to make changes, not someday, not when it got all easier, and certainly not when I had more time. I was busy. There was no time for me to stop and take just a look at what was really going on. The time was now, or at that point, a year and a half ago, that time was now. And that was when I began my self-care journey, started making changes to my health. I lost some weight. Joanne, we did this together. Even my husband joined in. We made a lot of changes. And I stepped away from a corporate role that was no longer serving me. And I began looking at how I wanted to live, not just how I wanted to get through the day. That was a turning point. And it taught me something important. Sometimes our body becomes the messenger for the life that we have been ignoring. When women think about needing a reset, they often think about the physical signs first: low energy, weight changes, poor sleep, cravings, stress, feeling sluggish, not feeling comfortable in your body. And yes, those are real signs, but there's other signs too, like feeling like you've lost your spark again, feeling like you are living on autopilot, wondering if your best years are behind you, feeling maybe unmotivated, maybe that you really do want more, putting your dreams off because you think, maybe it's too late, feeling like you're managing life, but you're not really living it. That is why this reset is not about food or movement. That's a part of it, but it's not that. It's more about paying attention to your body and your habits and your energy and paying attention to your dreams, to the woman you are becoming now in this chapter. At any age, whether you are in your 60s, in your 70s, 80s, and 90s, you can still feel that quiet pull to reconnect with yourself, dream again, make changes, and create a life that feels more meaningful and alive. And I want to say this again. You may already feel good about many parts of your life. You may be grateful, active, connected, and proud of what you have created. This reset is not only for the women who feels like they maybe want something more. It is also for the woman who senses that maybe she has forgotten something she has put aside, or something in her that simply needs to be awakened again. One of the questions I want us to think about tonight is this: is this aging, or is this something asking me to change? Is it my body asking me to listen? Because yes, aging is real. Our bodies change, our responsibilities change, our priorities change, but I do not believe that we should blame everything on age. Sometimes what we call aging is actually burnout. We heard all about burnout last month. Sometimes it's just about stress, or it's about grief. Sometimes it's about the years that we have put ourselves last. Sometimes it's because maybe we need more nourishment. We need more protein in our diet, or we need more hydration in our life. We need to stop eating sugar, or we need to not be so sedentary. All of that is so practical of what we're going through. But sometimes it's the habits that also no longer serve us. Sometimes it's the absence of joy, adventure, purpose, or meaningful connection. And sometimes we are not tired because we're old. We are tired because we have been carrying too much for too long. That is not a reason to give up, but it is a very clear reason to listen. This is the part that I want to say gently, but honestly. If nothing changes, nothing changes. And the danger is not just that we get to stay tired or disconnected. The danger is that life slowly gets smaller. We stop making plans. We stop dreaming out loud. We stop trying new things. We stop believing change is possible. And we tell ourselves, I'm too old for that. Or maybe this is just how life is now. But before we know it, we are living a life that is safe, familiar, and fine. Not fine, or sorry, but fine is not becoming fulfilled. If we want the next 10 years to look different from the last 10 years, we need to begin to make different choices now. Not massive choices, small ones. A reset gives us a place to begin. The 28-day Reclaim Vitality Reset that we are launching in our Reclaim Vitality community is a simple, supportive course created for women who are ready to take small, realistic steps towards feeling better in their body, rebuilding confidence, and creating a healthier, more energized next chapter. It's not about perfection. It's not about pressure. It's not about becoming someone else. It's about becoming ourselves again. And inside the reset, we come back to simple foundations, nourishing your body, moving in the ways that support you, reflecting on your habits and your patterns, reconnecting with what you want this next chapter to feel like. Because health is not separate from the rest of your life. When you feel better, you begin to think differently. When you have more energy, possibility opens up. When you keep promises to yourself, confidence comes back. And when confidence comes back, you start asking better questions about what is still possible. And here's the format of the course. Most health reset programs are designed around diet and exercise. We're used to that. But this is not a diet or a new workout routine. No promises of losing 20 pounds in 28 days. Sorry, ladies. Um, but we've designed this, first off, talking about mindset the first week. Mindset is where we begin. It opens the doors because we start to ask women, or if we start to ask women to change what they eat or how they move or how they care about themselves, we want them to reconnect what they believe in and what's still possible for their life. What are they thinking? What are they saying to themselves? It is about changing the way we see ourselves and seeing a way to choose ourselves again. So it's important to take note of the mindset about all those conversations, more importantly, the ones you're having with yourself, but also what you're saying out loud. And so when you start, making a bit of some progress there, you start thinking of different things, we can start talking about nutrition and entertaining the idea of maybe some more nutrient dense foods that you can enjoy. but also looking at the toxins and the chemicals that we can take out of your menu. And once you start taking a bit of control there, we can talk about your activity. In week 3, we talk about your body and how that operates and that the type of movement that is important to you at this age, whatever age you might be. It might not be that fast aerobic class that you used to do 20, 30 years ago. It might not be that hard press gym workout. It might be taking subtle walks. It might be yoga. It might just be a chair, sitting in a chair and being able to be flexible again, or walking and getting grounded out, walking on the grass, or there's so many new things that are out there that are so valuable at this in this chapter for us to participate in. And the last week, my favorite week, we wrap it all up together. We look at the momentum you are building and explore possibilities. What have you been denying yourself? What would light you up again? And if you could do it, how and when to start? We talk about putting ourselves first and making a plan of living our best lives. Every woman's experience will be different, but here is what we hope that you will begin to feel. Perhaps more awareness of what your body actually needs. That might just be simple hydration. That might be getting outside and connecting with nature. More confidence in your ability to make changes if you want to. More energy for the things that matter to you. More clarity, perhaps, about what you want in this next season. More pride because you are finally showing up for you. And perhaps more importantly, we hope you begin to feel possibility again. The feeling of maybe I can do this, whatever this might be. Maybe I can feel better. Maybe I can make plans again. Maybe I don't have to feel guilty for starting a new self-care routine. Maybe I can create new experiences. And maybe I can stop waiting for someday. That is the deeper purpose of this reset. Yes, we want to have and support healthier habits, but we also want to help women remember that their lives are still unfolding. So here is my invitation to you. If you have been feeling like you need a reset, this may be your place to begin. If you have been asking, is this all there is? If you've been feeling tired or stuck or disconnected with yourself, maybe you've been asking, maybe your body's been asking rather for your attention. And if you have dreams, adventures, or changes, maybe not keep putting them off. If you know you want more from this chapter of life, then I want you to know this. It is not too late. You are not too old, and you are not starting from zero. You're not starting from nothing. You are starting with wisdom. You have experiences and the quiet knowing that something in you is ready for more. The 28-day Reclaim Vitality reset is the first step. Not the whole journey, but a beginning, a reset, a way to choose yourself again. And we would love for you to join us. Our mission at Reclaim Vitality is this. We want to inspire more women to live their best lives, whatever that looks like for them. We want to celebrate those who make small changes all the way to the big transformations. And even for those women who are in our community who inspire us because they share in the community about their stories, their journey, and we can try new things that they teach us. And we are a sisterhood, if you will, of 60, 70, 80, and 90 plus women who are taking charge of their life, sharing it with others, and walking the path of their best life. And just a little heart to heart to all of you here. Many of you are here because you know us, you care about us, and you want, and we just love that you support what we are doing here. We are truly, truly grateful. We feel like we are at the beginning of something really beautiful with Reclaim Vitality, but we also know that this conversation is bigger than us and bigger than this room. There are so many women quietly wondering, is this all there is? What do I want now? And how do I feel better? Or how do I begin again? So if someone comes to mind as you've listened to me tonight, a friend, a sister, a neighbor, a colleague, we would be so grateful if you shared Reclaim Vitality with her. Sometimes an invitation from someone they trust is exactly what helps another woman take that first step. And in ways to share Reclaim Vitality, this podcast, this recording that we are just making here, will be on our YouTube channel in this entirety. So just even sharing that with someone. Or we also, and Sue or Joanne are putting those links in the chat right now, but we have a Facebook page. We have an Instagram page. Follow us there. Chime in over there too. And, just make this about all of us. And I also want to say that this is a way to be able to join our community. We talk about the free assessment. A lot of you came into our community by taking that assessment, and we love you for that. Um, 3 minutes, it's just really dips you into a bit of the conversation that maybe you'll find in the community that you can enhance. And then join the community, be a part of this, what we like to call the vitality generation. But um, we have so much more coming down the pipe. We've only just begun our mission, our vision, our community. And so thank you very much, everybody, for being here. We really appreciate that. I'm going to stop the slideshow, but I have a couple other things that we're going to do before we finish tonight. And that is, most times we are going to talk to our guest speaker, whoever that might be, and ask them a couple questions. So tonight we're going to hear from, there's both on the either side of me and my view here, but our Reclaim Vitality team, Sue and Joanne. And I'm going to start with Sue, but we have a couple questions for both of you to wrap this up. And the first one, Sue, is what does vitality mean to you?
Yeah, that's a great question. And, I thought about this a lot as we were rolling out Reclaim Vitality because they're so powerful, powerful words. We're reclaiming something, and vitality to me means like having the energy and the enthusiasm to enjoy life and also the people who matter most in your life. It's fun to do it with others. That's why I love this group. And I love friends and family. So it's just more focus on that.
Fabulous. Thank you. But one second question for you. For all the ladies here that are on the call, but also for the whole community that we're building, what is maybe your number one tip that you would advise for them to really reach and find their vitality?
Yeah, so it's really just encouraging, other women like us to stay curious, stay connected, live more, laugh more. And it's not by like doing more things, but it's just again making the space for things that bring you joy. And that's what I find like that is totally my focus going forward.
Awesome. Thank you. And Joanne, my sister, I'm going to start with the same question. What does vitality mean to you?
Well, vitality for me is freedom and it's energy. It's being able to wake up in the morning excited about what you're going to do for the day, whether it's play with your grandson, for me,
Mhm.
to hike, to walk, to say yes to opportunities that you probably wouldn't before. And yeah, it's feeling alive and being able to participate in your own life. And I've heard
Nice.
this little saying, it says, vitality isn't about adding years to your life. It's about adding life to your years.
Perfect. So number two question for you. Um, we've been working on this project for many years actually, and it's making and it's just come to fruition over this last year and a half. But what has it meant to you to be building this project, this Reclaim Vitality together?
Well, Reclaim Vitality has changed my life in ways that I never expected. It's given me a new sense of purpose.
Mm.
Uh, I just recently retired, and it's kind of an end of a chapter for me. But being part of Reclaim Vitality is giving me a whole new chapter, and it's really exciting. And as we were creating it, I'm very passionate about this. I just, for me, is like, let's create a generational movement with
Yeah.
Reclaim Vitality. Like that's how I feel.
That's funny. I remember when you said that one day, like generation, what do you want out of this, Joanne? Generational movement. It was like, oh my goodness, we better get moving here. We better build this. And so it really took a whole new life after, you know, hearing you say that. So, and that's what, again, we hope for everybody. I mean, everybody is going to not be a part of every bit and piece of what we're doing here in Reclaim Vitality, but like I say, there's more to come. We're having our podcast once a month. We have different guest speakers coming, really just to share their journey, their strength, um, and something that they can train to teach us with in around all of the conversations that we're having. So I look forward to that. But our Reclaim Vitality 28-day reset starts July 6th. You will see it in the community. So for those of you who are not in the community, you need to be in the community in order to participate. It's a complimentary course. It's 28 days, and there's a few of us already set to start on July 6th. We're going to wait for the long weekend to be over. So Monday, July 6th. It's just going to be there. You can start when you're ready on that day. And so we'll have that. There's a chat within the course. So we'll just, keep touch with everybody as you go through. Um, and it's going to take about 15 minutes a day. It's not long. It's just there's a video and then there's a little workbook to maybe ask some questions for you to think about what that subject is that day and maybe give some insight as to how you're feeling about that subject that day. So 15 minutes, maybe longer if you feel like, just working through a little bit more of that conversation. So it's all up to you. And so if I'm going to stop actually recording, and if there's anybody that